Hey guys, so I've dropped a major clanger. I've gone and bought a multi-vendor car, and my God, our number one rule at flipping cars is do not bid on or do not buy multi-vendor cars. They are known throughout the auction world as a newbie mistake. They're where car dealers, not like me, but other car dealers, get their lemon, get their turkey and throw it for the auction and try and pass it on to some unsuspecting fool. And Jesus Christ, after all the years of doing this, we've bought a multi-vendor car. The worst thing about it is nobody knows in the office who bid on it. I called up BCA and they said, no, you were the only one who placed a bid. That rings alarm bells. If no one else placed a bid, you know it's going to be a lemon, you know it's going to be a turkey. And I can tell you this now, we would never be the champagne bidder. We would never be the first bidder on that car. We would never place that first bid on a multi-vendor car, because if you do, you're going to overpay and you're going to buy the auction turkey. So Christ almighty, someone in the office has dropped a clanger and we can't find out who. We don't even know who tracked the vehicle, because we always put a name next to each car. And to make it worse, it was done online as well, so physically someone would have had to press a button, or we would have set up a proxy bid on that car, and nobody knows who's done it. And just our golden rule, man, is do not buy multi-vendor cars. So I just don't know how we've ended up with it. So anyway, I spoke to BCA, and I only spend £10 million of hard-earned money every year with BCA buying cars from them. I'm only a black card holder. I only buy over 500 cars off them. So of course they're going to help me out, aren't they? Nope, no they're not. I've got to buy the car. And I begged and I pleaded and I asked them, please take the car back. I don't want it. I don't want to waste my money on it. But would they do it? No, they wouldn't. Leeds BCA, you've let me down, man. You've not done the honourable thing. You've let me down, you. Yeah, I'll tell you what. And I went there just the other day too, and the breakfast sucks at Leeds BCA, so you've double whammied me. Who eats spam? People in Leeds do. Not in Birmingham, we don't eat spam. Not spam is in Birmingham. Oh dear me. So anyway, we've owned that car, and guess what? It's coming today. We're fortunate, we haven't paid too much. We haven't spent £20,000 on it. We spent 900 quid plus the auction fees, so it's going to be a bloody headache of a car. I know it is. My biggest worry, it's an Audi A4 estate. So the big problem with these, especially these old ones, it's 2006, is the clutch. Will that have gone, and will the gearbox be any good? If one of those two things is no good, we're not going to make a penny on this. We have definitely overpaid for it, but can we salvage it? If anyone can, hopefully we can. Watch the rest of the video and find out if we do. Fingers crossed. So guys, the car has been dropped off at my unit. So I'm in my Jeep, I'm heading over to the unit now, I'm going to take a look. Let's hope this is a decent car and not the utter headache I think it's going to be. I'm not confident. Every time I bought a multi-vendor car in the past, it's turned out to be a complete nightmare for me. But the good news is, sometimes, because they normally come cheap, you make your biggest profits out of the most challenging cars. So you never know, we could be on for a winner, but who knows. Let's go and take a look at the Audi then. There we go. I'll tell you what, the bodywork down there looks pretty good, but I've spotted it. There we go. Wheel arch rust. Look at that. Christ. Someone's had a little go at trying to fix that by the looks of it as well. But apart from that, there you go as well, look at that. Affordable, no wash. I didn't even get a free wash chucked in. There we go, let's have a look round. It looks like it's the facelift model, isn't it? It's got the full grille at the front. And there we go, even more rust. Look at that. Proper rust on this side. Yeah, that's coming off of my hand, that is. Yeah, that's really bad. That is gonna need a bit of work on that. But apart from that, you know, the rear arches look good, and there's no real marks to the body. So two front arches is the first thing I've seen, and that doesn't look too bad. Looks like we've got some half decent tyres on this as well. Plenty of tread. Same on the rear, loads of tread. So it looks like we've got good boots. Yeah. Okay, so not completely disappointing. Screen looks good. A few chips to the bonnet. But you know what? There's 2 keys with it. It doesn't seem completely horrific at the moment. But we haven't started it. We haven't started it up. Let's have a look inside. There we go, V5. How many keepers? Probably about 500. Let's have a look. Oh my god, no, there isn't. Look at that. Just one former keeper and one current owner. If I check that on cap, I can find out when the last person took ownership of this. And there you go, look at cap. It says someone has owned this since 2009, so this guy's had it for 10 years. Happy days. I wonder if I can find him online and ask him a few questions about this car. That might be a good strategy, I reckon, with this one. It's obviously filthy because we had no wash. They wouldn't even pay 10 quid or a fiver to get this thing washed. But I'll tell you what, look at that, full leather. And it's in good condition. There's no stinky smells, no bad odours. Let's start this thing up. I'll start it first time. Oh, a little bit of power steering noise. We'll have a look at that, not a problem. We've got the brake pad warning lights on, so we know we're going to have to do some pads, but we'll have a look at those. 129,000 miles, my god. So we know we're going to probably need to do a belt water pump, and I know with some of these you get the oil pump issue, don't you, as well? So we may have to do an oil pump on it as well. But let's speak to the guy first. He's had it for 10 years. He might have done all this for us. We might get away with not having to do a massive amount of work. And what else have we got here? Let's have a look. We got MOT till March 2020. Look at that. Advisories: exhaust has a minor leak of exhaust gases. Doesn't sound too bad from inside, so it must be minor. And then just a couple of the inside edges of the tyres. Now that looks okay from the outside, so we'll get them on the ramps and have a look. But I'll tell you what, that's a pretty clean MOT done at 126,000 miles. That's just 3,000 miles ago. That ain't bad, that's good news. Let's have a look. Any service history, this will be the teller. Anything stamped up, there's a stamp on 2007, 2008, 2010, and then it all goes quiet. This is when the guy took over it, so let's have a look. I wonder if he's had it serviced in the last 10 years. Let's have a chat with him. Hang on a second, we've got some book packs here. Come on, have some receipts. Nothing, but it's got the book packs, which is always good news when you come to sell them. There we go. But nothing else. Let's try and Google the geezer. Let's see if we can find him, and let's see if we can get some information out of him. So I've had a chat with the driver, and he said to me it drove down absolutely fine. There was no problems with the gearbox. The clutch felt good. Now, I would have thought a car with 130,000 miles on it, someone must have done that clutch in that period of time. I'm pretty sure of that. So I'm going to spend a bit of time and effort. I'm going to see if we can track the last keeper down. Now, we own that car for 10 years, so there's got to be some service history there. I reckon he's looked after it because it had a private plate on it prior to it coming on this one. So I think there's a little bit more to it, and I'm sure he must have given all them documents to the auction house. And remember, the auction house just might not keep those documents, might just get rid of them because they're not too fussed. They haven't got to resell this vehicle. So I'm going to speak to him because I'm sure he may have done some things, and I don't want to go on and repeat that work. I don't want to pull the engine apart and find out stuff has been done. I don't want to do things that are unnecessary and are costly. So I'm happy that it drives fine. There feels like obviously there's something in the power steering that needs looking at. There looks as though we're going to have to do the brakes on it. I don't know whether front or rear. Let's get it on the ramps. We'll pop the bonnet, we'll have a look underneath, and we'll pull the wheels off, and we'll have a look at what the brakes look like as well. Let's see how we get on with this motor. Let's take a look under the bonnet. Okay,
Okay, so for something that's 2006, it's reasonably clean looking. There we go. You can see it's an old car. Look at that, that's just the insulation, the soundproofing. There doesn't appear, from the top anyway, to be anything in the way of leaks. The coolant looks okay. Christ, that's on tight. The oil looks clean. So again, it's not a complete bag of nails, but it's not anything that's going to really sort of get you too excited. I guess we need to get it on the ramps and have a proper look at it. Where we're going to start with this, there's probably no right or wrong answer to that. We can either look at the bodywork first, but that's probably best left till last. We've got to look at the mechanics, I would suggest, as the first port of call. So like the tyres look good, but obviously we saw the brake warning lights on. And if I look through here, I can see, to be honest with you, the discs don't look great, but they're not terrible. There's a bit left on that pad, but I'm guessing that's the one that's bringing the warning light on. It's just really, really grubby underneath to tell too much about the suspension at the moment. We're going to need to get that cleaned down to have a proper look. And then when I look at the rear, there's plenty on the pads there, and again the discs are in poor shape. There we go. The suspension, the shrouding, the cover has perished. There's no misting on there, but that's in poor condition. So definitely gonna have some problems there. And then obviously we got underneath the engine as well and underneath the gearbox. Now the driver who bought it actually said it drove really well. He didn't have any issues. So fingers crossed, we're not too bad there. The big issue, I think, is gonna be what the suspension's like on this and the brake and discs. I think with a service we might get lucky, but we're gonna have a proper look around that engine, give it a good service and make sure there's no proper leaks. Let's have a look under here as well. So the exhaust, to be honest with you, doesn't look bad at all, does it? Although, there we go, there is a hole in it. So where it splits off from the single pipe, there's a big hole in it. So that's probably that's what's making the noise. There's a little bit of corrosion, obviously, across there on the rear suspension. We're going to have to get it cleaned up so we can have a proper look on this. Let's have a look under the front. That looks like it's a new belt on it. So it's had some work done to it. There's a bit of a leak coming down here. Let's have a gander. Although, to be honest with you, it's not a horror story at all, is it? It's not a complete nightmare. There's no major leaks there. Right. So fingers crossed, engine gearbox not too bad. Rear of the exhaust, rear suspension, both need work. And we've got some issues with these brakes, haven't we? Let's get that wheel off and let's have a proper look at them. Oh, there we go. Oh. There we go. We can see what we've got going on now. Yeah, and those pads are just about had it. That's what I said about those discs. I would more than likely, they've got a lip on them. They've got a few, yeah, they're starting to crack. They're worth replacing. If we're going to do this right, we might as well do it properly. So we'll replace the discs and the pads on these. Quite a straightforward job. The calipers, again, don't look fantastic, but for an old motor, hopefully they're okay. And the pipes going into them, there's no perishing on those. As I say, the suspension's seen better days. Yeah, the suspension is perishing to the shrouding round the outside. The coil springs, they're okay, they're not cracked. Jesus wept. 900 quid for this. I'm seriously gonna struggle to make a profit, but I'll tell you what, let's see what we can do. You never know, there's a good chance. With a bit of luck, we could do something to this. This is going to be the killer, the corrosion on the wheel arches, because we're going to have to sort that out properly. Even though it's an old motor, people are just going to moan about that. We might need to call a favour in on that, because I don't really want to spend money doing 2 front wheel arches. That could prove costly. So I might need to try and call a favour in. This is it, multi-vendor cars. Do not buy multi-vendor cars unless you're a nutter or unless they go dead cheap. So guys, the multi-vendor car, complete and utter nightmare. Do not buy these cars unless you get them dead cheap, because you're going to have to spend money on them. I've probably been a bit lucky here. The gearbox and the engine look pretty sound. Fingers crossed that's going to be the case. It may not be. We've got to take it out on a proper road run yet, but we're going to have to fix this up because it owes me 900 quid plus the fees, plus the delivery. I'm going to battle to get my money back on this, but I'm going to try and make a profit. Fingers crossed we do make a profit. Leave a comment below. Do you think we're going to make a profit? Do you think we're going to make a loss? What would you do with this car? Would you just stick it back in auction? Would you just whack it on Facebook or Gumtree or eBay and just hope someone makes you an offer good enough to get your money back? Because remember, it's literally a 2-keeper car, 1 current and 1 previous. So it's not a complete and utter crapper, but it ain't the best car in the world, is it? It needs work, it needs money spending on it. I could just put the wheel back on, list it. I might even make a couple hundred quid, so it could be a quick flip, or I could spend money on it and do it up. It's a tough one, isn't it? I'll tell you what, you make the decision. What shall I do? Shall I just put it straight onto eBay, Gumtree, Facebook, see if some nutter wants to take this on? Or shall I fix it up? Shall we make it into a bit of a series and see if we can make some proper money out of it? Let me know, leave me a comment in the section below, and whilst you're here, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, please. And you will be notified of when I put the next video on. Leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching, cheers for being a subscriber, and catch you next time.